treated. Sean Payton called the situation, quote, disappointing. And then Thomas took to Twitter posting, quote, they tried to damage your reputation. You saved theirs by not telling your side of the story. Trying to read between the lines. Shannon, whose side are you on, the Saints or Michael Thomas?
Skip, I don't really know anybody that was close to the Saints, or I would have reached out to try to get a better handle on what's going on. But from what I can deduce, Michael Thomas signed a big contract. And the last thing you want to happen, take it from a guy that once played, that got a contract, the last thing you want to have happen, Skip, is to get hurt. Because if you get hurt, the first thing people start to say, the team, they will question, is he really hurt or is he comfortable because he got the big contract? Okay, he hurts his ankle, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, the first game against Tampa. Tries to play, but he ends up, they put him on IR, so he misses time. He comes back during the playoffs, but he's not the same Michael Thomas, the guy that just broke the record the previous year, 149 catches, over 1,700 yards. And he didn't look like himself. And I guess there was ongoing dialogue. Okay, Mike, you're probably going to need to have surgery. Well, I want to see if I can rehab it and not have to have surgery.
True.
That's what normally the conversation is. Skip, I remember with Steve Antonopoulos dealing with knee and ankle injuries. Okay, Greek, what do you think? Sharpie, give it a month. See how it goes. See how you feel. If it doesn't feel, I recommend we go in and get it done. Okay, fine, no problem. Okay, Greek, I think I'm going to need surgery. It's not healing.
He's your trainer.
Steve Antonopoulos was our trainer. 44, 45 years. Not going, I get the surgery. It seems to me, they said, okay, Mike, you want to try to, as far as rehab it, rest, see how it goes. But at some point in time, if it's not getting better, you're going to need to have surgery. Well, it seems to me, after a couple of months, they reach out to him, and he's not returning calls. The head coach, the position coach, yada, yada, yada. Backtrack. Last year, he gets into a fight with a defensive back. Sean Payton, I guess instead of him apologizing, he curses Sean Payton. They suspend him for one game check. They asked him to get counseling, control the anger. He blows that off. So this seems to be a culmination. But Skip, they're in a situation where they can't trade him. Skip, this dude will be almost $35 million against the cap and dead money. They're already up against the cap.
They are. It sounds like you are on the Saints side here.
I am, Skip. If what is being reported is true, I don't know how Michael has a good leg to stand on, and considering that he had surgery, he only has one good leg. But he could have had, if he had the surgery in June, why not have it in April? That way you'd speed up, and so now you'd have been able to play at the start of the season. It seems to me now this is going to go into the season, and that's the last thing that the Saints wanted.
That is true. You laid it out perfectly, and you arrived at the conclusion I arrived at last night. I'm on the Saints side here. And yet I appreciated how cleverly sort of cryptic this tweet was, because it was well done. They tried to damage your reputation. You saved theirs by not telling your side of the story. Unfortunately, we have arrived at the juncture where it's time for him to tell his side of the story, because I'm not sure he has a good one. An effective one, a convincing one.
Is he going to say, Skip, they misdiagnosed me? My injury was more severe than they originally told me. I got out there and played, did more damage to the ankle than was what they told me I could do or I would do?
Maybe. But when the season ended, they recommended surgery. As Sean Payton said, quite honestly, it should have happened at the end of the season, immediately after the end of the season.
And considering how he looked in that game,
I agree.
I'd have had surgery that night.
I have absolutely no problem with the second opinion. I have no problem, because we've seen it again and again with the Kawhi Leonard. He goes to an outside the organization doctor who says, hey, wait a second, we need to do this right now.
And guess what, Skip? The team has to pay for it. So you can go get a second opinion, you can go get a third opinion.
Okay, fine. But his second opinion said, I think we can rehab this and eliminate the surgery option here. I think we're going to be okay. So they try to rehab and they try to rehab, and they waste what, 2/3 of the offseason.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they arrived at the conclusion, guess what? I think we got to have this surgically repaired.
You had this, okay, Skip. So February, March, April, 3 months.
Yep.
3 months is plenty enough.
Wasted. Yep.
Thank you. But and the thing is, Skip, look, I get frustration when you're injured, Skip. You're frustrated because you can't be there, and you question, do they think I'm hurt or they think I'm bull jiving? So but Skip, you got to maintain a level of professionalism.
You do.
Even in the greatest, when you're heightened, your frustrations are at their highest.
Yep.
Your professionalism needs to be at its highest.
So the Saints just went from a 2019 in which he set those records that you talked about, and he was named the Offensive Player of the Year in the National Football League. You were at the big banquet, the big ceremony, right?
Yes.
And he was catching passes from Drew Brees, who was one of the best. He was a top 5 quarterback in 2019.
Yes.
And now we're down to, wait a second, I assume it's going to be Jameis Winston throwing to Marquez Callaway, who looks like he's the new #1 receiver.
Right.
Really? An undrafted kid. Really? I don't know. It's come to this for the New Orleans Saints. And I pity them because they are in a no-win on this one.
They're in a no-win. Skip. You got to decide between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. Your best receiver is not going to be there to start the season. You're up against the cap because there's some moves that you would like to have made that you can't because financial restraints. It's just a bad situation. I like Sean Payton. I think he's as good an offensive mind, as good a head coach as we have in the league. But they're going to be up against it this year.
I think it's advantage Buccaneers.
Might not just be the Buccaneers. And there's going to be a lot of some other teams that you're going to take their pound of flesh because the Saints have taken their pound of flesh from a lot of teams over the last 4 or 5 years. Well, since Drew Brees and Sean Payton has been together. And people going to be looking to get their get back. Ain't nobody going to feel sorry for you. I can assure you that.
This is messy, and I guess we wait and see if we do hear.
Yeah, it is. This is a bad situation.
We'll be following it. Guys, question for you. Is this the summer Ben Simmons fixes his 3-point shooting? I feel like I've said that before,
For real, Skip?
though. We'll discuss.
Okay.
Next.
No mercy, no mercy.